China is refusing to negotiate with President Trump on U.S. tariffs. In fact, the nation is taking the trade war to a new height. China is refusing to accept deliveries of Boeing jets. NBC's Janis Mackey Frayer reports the move would not just be to blow to America's largest exporter, but also to the U.S. economy.
This morning, the world's two largest economies locked in an escalating trade war, with China now hitting back, responding to President Trump's tariffs by targeting U.S. companies, telling Chinese airlines not to order jets from Boeing, America's biggest exporter, according to Bloomberg. President Trump accusing them of reneging on the big Boeing deal of fully committed to aircraft. Overnight, tech giant NVIDIA projecting that U.S. tariffs will cost it a possible $5.5 billion. China's also putting export controls on critical rare earths, limiting Hollywood films in the lucrative Chinese market, adding U.S. companies to its unreliable entities list, and threatening to cut off fentanyl talks. Yesterday, the White House press secretary reading a statement she said President Trump dictated.
China needs to make a deal with us. We don't have to make a deal with them. There's no difference between China and any other country, except they are much larger.
But neither side seems ready for that deal yet. China's leader, Xi Jinping, is on tour, urging Vietnam to stand up to America's unilateral bullying. And after Vice President J.D. Vance referred to Chinese peasants last week, now a diplomat here saying, quote, those peasants from the U.S. will soon be crying. The pushback feeding economic nationalism and a flood of AI-generated memes in China, showing Trump administration officials working factory production lines. But beyond the rhetoric, real impact. Consumers feeling it in everything from toys to socks to toothbrushes. 97% of baby strollers and 87% of car seats sold in the U.S. are made in China, effectively the only source of baby goods for parents. This vendor in Yiwu telling us U.S. clients just aren't buying anymore because of tariffs.
And that was Janis Mackey Frayer reporting. California is fighting back against President Donald Trump's tariff authority. California Governor Gavin Newsom is set to file a lawsuit in federal court suing Trump over his use of emergency powers to enact sweeping global tariffs. The lawsuit argues Trump lacks the authority to enact such sweeping tariffs, saying such action requires congressional approval.
Spending on motor vehicles and parts was up a whopping 5.3% in March from February. That was the strongest monthly pace since January of 2023. Supplies of new and used vehicles for sale are declining rapidly as consumers flock to stores ahead of potential price increases due to the tariffs. The day's supply of new vehicles, which is calculated by an estimated daily retail sales rate, dropped from 91 days at the beginning of March to 70 days this month, and the day's supply of pre-owned vehicles declined by 4 days down to 39 days now. Some are concerned that these sales numbers will stall once automakers and dealers exhaust their tariff-free inventories.
It's factories like this one in Yiwu, China, that makes hair accessories, a lot of them for export to the U.S., that are beginning to feel the sting of soaring tariffs, now at least 145% on all Chinese goods. China is still refusing to negotiate with President Trump, and now the retaliation goes beyond tariffs. Beijing telling Chinese airlines to not order jets from Boeing. It's America's biggest exporter, this according to Bloomberg. China's also putting export controls on critical rare earths. It's limiting Hollywood films in the Chinese market, adding U.S. companies to its unreliable entities list, and threatening to cut off talks on fentanyl. The White House has said that President Trump is adamant that we don't have to make a deal with China. China needs to make a deal with us. But neither side appears ready to make that deal. China's leader, Xi Jinping, has been on a tour of the region, shoring up partnerships and trade deals with Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia. Part of the diplomatic ramp-up is allowing economic nationalism to flourish online here, along with a flood of AI-generated memes showing Trump administration officials working on factory production lines. But beyond the rhetoric, there is real impact for consumers, feeling it in everything from toys to toothbrushes to baby goods. Tariffs do pose a risk for China's economy, too. It's no secret that growth is slowing here. But for now, neither side of this trade showdown appears willing to budge. Janis, Mackey, Frayer, NBC News, Yiwu, China.